If I have someone on that Israel is furious, like let's just say if I have Nick Fuentes on, you know what Israelis are going to say?
I'm going to give you a little advice. He's giving me advice saying, you know, you're not going to get far using that word. Okay, point taken. And in some sense, I agree with that. I agree with the thrust of what he's saying. My advice to you...
Why haven't you yet recognized the Armenian, Assyrian, and the Greek genocide that the Turkish did to that community?
In fact, I think we have, because I think the Knesset passed a resolution to that effect.
I don't know if it's come from you, though. I don't know if it's come from the Prime Minister of Israel.
Yeah, I just did.
Okay.
Here you go.
All right. Well, thank you for doing that.
That is Bibi Netanyahu.
I had no idea your voice is going to sound like that, Netanyahu.
AKA the Prime Minister of Israel. Now, Patrick Bet-David is getting a lot of heat for having Bibi Netanyahu on because a lot of people are very, very skeptical about Israel and the regime there. They're very, very unhappy with what's happening to the Palestinians. Now, this is from extreme leftists, and it's also from people on the right wing. So Patrick Bet-David sits down with Bibi Netanyahu, has a conversation with him, and as you can see right here, the bloodlust gets a little crazy whenever Bibi Netanyahu is asked to acknowledge the Armenian genocide. Nick Fuentes was not happy, and he calls out Patrick Bet-David.
I like Patrick Bet-David. I like his crew. I like his show. Show's good. I like his interviews. He talks to Andrew Tate. Very good show with Andrew Tate. Talk to Dan Bilzerian. Great show with Dan Bilzerian. Two friends of mine. They're both great. People have been asking for this collaboration for a while. People are asking me, when are you going to get on his show? And I say, well, it's his show. You got to ask him. And he says he doesn't want to have me on because I say the N-word.
If I have someone on that Israel is furious, like let's just say if I have Nick Fuentes on, you know what Israelis are going to say? So disappointed in you. You know, I can't believe you sold out. I can't believe you did this. They're going to say those types of things, okay? And maybe even try to actually get the interview to be flagged, okay? Like when we had Tommy Robinson on Manek, story came out from the Times. I don't know if you have the story, Rob. Type in the Times. The Times could type in Tommy Robinson to Times and Manek, okay? So they did a massive story, the Times, okay? With the story. They came. I don't know if people know this or not.
Oh my gosh. Patrick Bet-David is not saying that he's scared. Is he saying that he's scared? This is not something that's respectable. This is not the marketplace of ideas. This is not conservatism. This is not free speech. This is the issue that I have with a lot of the corporations. In fact, this is the reason why I think my great-grandfather was one of the good Democrats.
But then today, he has on the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu. And that's where you got to say, isn't that a double standard? I understand that Netanyahu is a world leader. So there's a different set of expectations that govern that role when you're a world leader. But Netanyahu is credibly accused of a genocide by the International Court of Justice, International Criminal Court. He was charged with war crimes. And by the way, that's not the Palestinians saying that. The same international bodies that charged Netanyahu with war crimes charged Hamas with war crimes. That's the part that gets buried. They say the ICC is politically motivated. They charged Hamas and Netanyahu with war crimes. And many European governments that are pro-Israel have recognized these rulings as legitimate. So it's not just me. So someone like with Netanyahu, we're going to suspend judgment on the famine, the war crimes, the political assassinations. We're going to suspend the judgment on that for the sake of the interview. But with me, I said on the show, and by the way, let's just be adults. I don't respect adults that say the N-word. Are we babies? Ooh, he said the F word. Mommy, he said the F word. He said the S word. He said the D word. We're all adults here. I will not be treated in this diminutive way by black people. What you say, cracker? You can't say. You think you could say that? Yeah. Yeah, and who's going to tell me I can't? You? Why? Because you're black? I'm a grown-ass man. I'm an American. I can say whatever word I like. I could say any swear word, racial slur. Now, granted, we all recognize it's in poor taste to say these words in and out of context, to say the C word towards a woman, to say the N word towards a black person. We understand this. But to penalize somebody for uttering the word, like I just did, without context, just to say, that's the word you got a problem with. What is...
See, it wasn't hateful. It wasn't hateful just now. I don't know if you guys, that's not hateful what he's saying. What he's saying isn't directed towards black people in a hateful way. He's saying a word that's taboo, just like the other bad words. He's absolutely correct here.
The word. If I say N word, I'm just making you say it in your head. You all know the word I'm talking about. So on one side, you've got famine, genocide, ethnic cleansing, political assassinations, evading prosecution, arguably taking power, centralizing power in the executive. And on the other side, you have a white guy that deigned to say a racial slur. And you point this out and you say, okay, you have on Andrew Tate, he said the N-word. You have on the war criminal. Isn't that a bit of an extraordinary standard then that's being applied to me? And I actually asked him this on Twitter today. I said, so your problem with me, because he said this on Twitter, he said, well, you know, he says this word and we want it to be a respectful conversation. I said, you've had on Andrew Tate who says the N-word. And by the way, many of your guests, I'm sure, say it in private too. I just say it in public. I said, and I'm nothing but respectful on other debates or conversations. He says, well, yeah, but Tate is black and you're white. Oh, so because I'm white, I can't say it. Tate can say it because he's half white. I can't say it because I'm 80% white. Does that even make sense? And that's even besides the point.
The anti-white fatigue, man. The anti-white fatigue. Well, if you were black... Well, if you're a woman, then you can talk about abortion.
Aren't we interested in conversations? As if the restriction is I can't say it on your show, I'll play by the rules. I'm a respectful person. I don't even swear on other people's shows. I try to be respectful, but if that's the reason, it's a little crazy. And then he turns it into, well, you're respectful on shows, but when you react to some shows on your show, then you're intense. Okay, so now it's my reaction off the... What are we doing? And look, you know, I like the guy. If he doesn't want to have me on the show, it's no hard feelings. But I think you lose a lot of credibility. I'm going to give you a little advice. He's giving me advice saying, you know, you're not going to get far using that word. Okay, point taken. And in some sense, I agree with that. I agree with the thrust of what he's saying. My advice to you is if you let something like that get in the way of a good conversation, I think people are going to lose a lot of respect for you. I think you're going to lose a lot of credibility.
This was the nicest I've ever seen Nick Fuentes handle something like this. I don't know if it's because Candace and Tucker, the whole thing went down, and maybe he thought to himself, that was a little too hard. That was a little bit too much of a PR crisis. So he's handling this with so much more tact and grace. But don't take the kindness for weakness. Okay? Don't take the kindness for weakness. He has a cultic audience for a reason. He's a smart leader. He's very smart. Don't get too crazy. You guys, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll drop the link to this full thing on X. I'm going to have to edit out some words so that I can make money on YouTube. But I think you guys get the point. I'll see you in the next one.